So I just got back from my latest pickup adventure, and this is a Tempest, full-size Tempest, in pretty good shape. A little ding here. The worst ding it has is on this side. You know, whatever. That's just Tempest for you, I guess. That's no biggie. But yeah, this thing looks really good. It costs a little bit, but I think, you know, the game is probably worth a bit more. What the hell happened there? Alright, whatever. Yeah, that's a Tempest. Unless you got a lot of use or something. You can see it has the original monitor because it has a black dot right in the middle from the burn. And Tempest burn. So this thing's got all the guts. I'll have to open it up and I'll show you what I'm dealing with, because although the cabinet looks great, the electronics have a little bit of TLC required. Alright, so inside we have a Tempest, and like my other videos, I guess, this one got a switcher in it. It's been here for a while, it's a little dusty. They soldered it directly onto the game board, and that's not very good, but let's see here. Also, at the same time, it appears that the AR2 is still hooked up for some ungodly reason. They only have 5 volts hooked up to this, and I think this takes more than just 5. This might take 12, because I think, well, this would just be 5 right here. I'm not sure what this is. That's 12 volts DC. So we got 12 volts going to here through the AR, and yeah, I'm gonna need to figure out what's going on here before I want to turn the power on, because I just don't want to blow it up. Big Blue is looking kind of green down there. That one's probably a replacement. Maybe that's the original, I don't know. So next up is the monitor, and this thing, it's got issues. So they cut the two regulator transistors for the low voltage regulation for the deflection there. You can see that pin right there. That guy, it's a little burnt and it's kind of sticking out. That thing is kind of not happy. We got no blown fuses. They said that the spot killer light, that has resistors and diodes on that one. That's not supposed to be there. I'm not seeing anything completely out of the ordinary in the high voltage cage, besides the cage itself is missing. Except for that guy up there. That guy's seen some better days, so I don't know if high voltage is going to work. That anode cup looks like it's going to be a replacement flyback inside of here. So, let's see where screen's at. Screen's almost all the way maxed, so I don't know what the fuck is going on here. So, this needs some help. I'm going to see if I can get the game to boot up. I'm going to disconnect the 5 volts, have the 12 volts from that hooked up, because that should be fine. And then hook that up to the oscilloscope and see if the game is even outputting any video. I'll disconnect the monitor for sure, though. So unfortunately, it's really hot in here, so I got to chill it out a little bit. Get some of that cool evening air in here. So we're going to try and get this to display an image. I got my scope. It should work. Give me my dot. Yeah, whatever. Uh-oh. So, what I did here is I noticed that this right here is supposed to be going up to the marquee light. So the marquee light's just not going to work. I'm going to trust that this is set correctly to 5 volts due to the previous statements that they were hearing sounds, but no, nothing on the screen. So I disconnected 5 volts from this power supply because I don't want this guy to blow us up. It's old. It's upset. Let me plug this in, and let's see what happens. Wow. So that's working. It's a little wobbly, but you know. No, that's not working. Holy moly. Uh-oh. I see what killed the monitor. Oh, that's the monitor murder right there. Oh, that thing killed the monitor. That thing's fucking dead. Oh, that thing's pissed. Is the game still running? Shit. Huh? Uh-oh. Stop. We're stopping right there. It crashed. So the game crashed eventually. Let's get this dude up to here. I need to adjust my astigmatism because it's kind of crooked. So let's get this at 0. Voltage per division. Let's do 2 volts per division, so our 5 volts should be here. Let's make sure that the 5 volts didn't do anything bad. What the hell? Oh. I saw it come back. It's a little high. The video is back. It's drifting upwards. Oh, that... I really don't like that. Is that just my scope? Let me get a meter out. So the problem with the soldered on the board nonsense is that it's really hard to see what's even going on. 6 volts. Fuck me, dude. Okay, we're trying to kill the game board here. And that murdered the monitor. That fucking killed the monitor, period. So we gotta get this thing unhooked. We gotta set this stupid 5 volts to 5 volts because this is unacceptable. This thing was murdered by the switcher. Alright, so now we got this meter hooked up directly to the power supply. I have the input for this side of the AR out, so I should not hear the hum of the amplifier kicking on. Got the input for this side out, so there's no -5, +12 going to there. So you should be able to turn this on. I cannot believe they have that thing so high. That poor game, dude. This board has been abused. So, somehow it's still functioning, because 6 volts, that's like 20% above rated. Holy shit, okay? Alright, so let's try that again. We got 5 volts right here going to the 5 volts. We got ground going to the ground. I'm just double checking myself to make sure I didn't reverse that and blow something else that's more important up. So we got the video hooked back up. So I got X on that, Y on that. X ground is disconnected. Let's fix that. Man, I can't believe this thing had 6 volts on it. Wow. Okay, so I have the meter still on the power supply. We got 4.9. 494 on the board. That's perfect. We have happier Tempest visuals. Man, that thing was burning up. Yeah, baby. That's right. I wonder if I can invert X and Y. We got some smelly smells. It smells like a cabinet. It smells like an old Atari game, really. Speaker's hooked up. At least it should be. Unless this thing is just not getting the proper voltage for the amplifier. Something's up with that. I'm not going to worry about the audio until after. Okay, so that's a start. Dare I power this thing up? On one hand, I really don't want to because I might blow more shit up. On the other hand, well, it's probably already jacked. Alright, so I double checked the fuses on the monitor and they check out. So we're just gonna throw the monitor's power switch. This is generally not a good idea when dealing with vector monitors. So I already know I'm going to do a bunch of work to this thing because it's got some problems. I got to fix that regulator. I got to fix that plug on that little switcher mabobber up there for the high voltage. So yeah, I'm not too worried about blowing up some deflector transistors if this is a problem. High voltage, I don't know what it's going to do. So let's stand back here and listen. Well, I don't think anything's happening. The game should be on test screen. We got nothing. No net glow. I hear deflection. It's trying to deflect, so I just don't think the high voltage is running. I don't know if you can hear that, but the deflection's working. So we have a high voltage problem. That's for sure. We have no high voltage. So we're not getting a picture today. Alright, so I wanted to get the switcher out of here first and foremost. It should be a very simple thing to do. I'm assuming that most of this power supply works, if not all of it. I just replaced the series pass transistor there because, you know, those like to blow up. I just want to get that out of there first for safety. I'm assuming that the power supply otherwise works because there's little to no damage. Usually these fail from these connections right here getting all burnt up. That one's a little bit scruffy, but this one's really clean. I wonder if this board's original. This board's original to the cabinet. This board's original to the cabinet. Anyway, so I turn it on and I get a whole lot of nothing on the 5 volts. And I wonder why. I think they clipped that big power resistor that feeds the collector voltage for this the series pass resistor there, or transistor there. And yeah, so it can't output any voltage minus what the little regulator is trying to do, which is not much. So if I turn the power on, well, that's not looking very 5 volts to me. So this thing is trying to crank. It's trying to turn up, but you know, it's not able to do anything. So let's pull that out and fix that. Okay, so now I should get proper voltage or something close to it. That's a bit high. Let's turn that down. So this power supply, get this glue off here. So the AR2 is working just fine. Let's let it sit there and cook for a minute. Let's check this guy out. So I can do this with one hand. Without this shit in the way. That seems to be a normal voltage drop. That seems to be working. So there's no reason why that would be disconnected. I'm not entirely sure why they'd want to. That switcher is screaming, and I don't like it. Fuck this thing. Why did they... Okay, I just have to deal with Screaming Switcher for now. Let's see if the game has any complaints about this. It shouldn't. But we will check the voltage at the game board and the ground at the game board. That way we know what the game board is seeing as far as power goes. It might be a little bit low starting out. Yeah, I wasn't happy about that. It's too low. That might be some... That's Big Blue. Oh, shit. Big Blue's dead. So this guy right here, letting by a volt of hum through the 5 volts. So that's dropping the voltage way down, even if we adjust that pot up. So we have a dead Big Blue. That's pretty normal, actually. So, this probably works, but I don't know if I want to go through the effort of throwing the used part in when I could not. So this thing will be continued at a later date. Well, I got the monitor pulled out. Here it is. I had a black light around. Black lights are a good way to find clues of what's been going on. Obviously, this monitor has a different serial number than the rest of the cabinet, so this has been changed out before. Obviously, we have the obvious Tempest burn that's obvious, and it's obviously Tempest, but there's obviously some other obvious burn that obviously points to other obvious uses of this monitor, obviously. Bonus spider every whatever. So this used to be in a horizontal game, obviously. Man. This has been in a Black Widow before, so this is not the only job this monitor has had. So yeah, this is a K6100. I don't think I've ever made a video on a 6100 yet, but I've worked with many. That's not the one I've worked on the most. I did work on Space Duels quite a bit. Space Duels is quite a bit different than this one. This one has the original tube in it. So Space Duel had a tube swap. This is the original 6100 tube, which is a very spendy sucker. People, you gotta pay like $800 to get one of these things. This is different than a regular Rasper tube because it's a 100-degree tube, not a 90-degree tube, which means that this angle right here at the link between the neck and the bell, instead of 90 degrees, it's 100 degrees. So it allows the guns to be closer to the face of the tube, smaller footprint, and mostly only vector monitors use the color versions of these. Almost every other black and white tube is a 100-degree tube, so this one right here is a 100-degree tube, which is why this cabinet can open without just folding the entire cabinet open, unlike the Miss Pac-Man and Pac-Man cocktails, which the whole cabinet like comes in half. So before we mess with this, I am going to do one thing. Just to get this going for now, I'm going to get that Big Blue out of there and throw this one in, because I know this one still works. Also, I can't stop listening to this album. This is stupid shit. Alright, cleaned up the bottom of the cabinet just a bit and put the other Big Blue in there because I'm impatient. So let's see what the power supply does now. I got the game boards disconnected for now. 527, perfect. No AC on it right now, but there's also no load, so I got the screen, the temporary screen activated. We're gonna plug in the game board, see what the outcome is, see if the power supply is gonna do its business or not. 4.9 volts. 4.9, so let's see what the game board's receiving from its standpoint here. 4.95, man, that connector's good. Let's grab the other ground too while we're at it. Let's make sure it's Make sure there's no bad ground juju either. 4.8. A little bit wobbly, but now it's all off the power supply and the AR2, so I'm gonna see if the audio is working. Yeah, the audio is working now. Shut up. That is cleaned. Alright, that's the sound we're looking for. That means all our sounds are working. Well, I got it disassembled and cleaned it up a little bit. I took a brush to the tube, make it a little bit cleaner, and wiped down the bottom of it so it's not like greasy, weird shit anymore. What we got some diodes, probably to drop the voltage, and some resistors to reduce current, blah, 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 to the transistors, which are not the right parts. These are just, well, there's something all right. I don't know. So we're going to fix that. NTE 219, I'm not entirely sure if that's a correct one or not. NTE has their own numbers. 3716, that sounds familiar. 8252. 93 or 284. NTE 284. So these are just all over the place. Let's see. 316. Okay, I can redo the entire thing right now. I don't know what that is. Well, I got a little toasty, and they put way too much thermal paste on there, and then they put like 3 mic. No, that might just be 1 or 2. Two micas at least. I think the other one just like split. So that's wonderful. I don't even know. We'll check all these out. I don't even know what the heck. I don't even know. This thing is jacked. We need to start over. So I got I think these are the Y transistors, Y deflection, and the X transistors replaced with the correct part, and I removed all the bullshit, and so I'm going to reconstruct the cable for this here. This is for the regulator that goes right here. So what they did is I think they plugged in the X into the Y and the Y into X, and then they extended the X, which turned into the Y, because they're the same setup. They extended it with the wires from the regulator plug, which is also the same setup. So I'm going to have to chop this apart and reclaim my wires so I can rebuild this using new plugs. And then I could just use this, or I could just repin it. I don't know. But I could just desolder it. So I used a scalpel to kind of chop into it. I'll use some heat shrink to bring it back, but man, what a pain. Alright, stage 1 of the monitor is complete. I replaced all the frame transistors, made new wiring harness for the regulators, installed the LV, got rid of all the extra shit, and put in the degauss. Everything else is unplugged. We're going to see if the deflection is working. It should work without the high voltage. We'll hear it chatter. Let's find out, I guess. Huh, sounds like it's going to me. That's a good first step. We have spotlight on while it powers off. Okay. So after I got that stuff done, I threw it in there for shits and giggles just to see if it would fire up. And of course the high voltage was still bad. So right now I'm just going through transistors. I already tested this transistor here. It's good. It's got good connection. Well, as good as it's going to have for now. Don't worry about it. This one tests good. I haven't tested these two yet. I tested that one. And I just pulled this one right here. And yeah, it's not looking so hot. So that one is 902. And so yeah, both of these guys here that go right here are burnt out. These aren't even the right parts. I'm not sure what the deal is, but I'm ordering the right ones for per the schematic to install here. I got little heat sinks that'll go on them. They'll look like that, kind of, or like these ones here. So yeah, so I want to know what this tube is like. I want to, because this thing is pretty discolored and brown, and it looks kind of aged. It's got burned from 2 different games on it. The drives and the screen were kind of cranked, so I'm going to borrow Space Duel's high voltage cage and put it on this monitor, and then I just want to see what it's going to do. So I robbed the HV cage off of Space Duel's monitor here, and I stuck it on here for now. Guess we'll find out whether it explodes in a good way, or if it explodes in a bad way. I don't want there. Come on. Come on, sucker. Get out of there. Put it down here so I can hold it like this. It's my handle. You know, plugging it in would help. Alright, this time for real, I swear. I swear. Sounds like it's not making very good contact with that. Well, that was a Tempest picture. Just get this thing not, you know, shitty in there. One moment. Well, that should be better in there. So hopefully it's not going to sizzle and crackle. Make funny noises. Okay, no funny noises. Well, you got kind of funny noises. 20 kV. Green's a little pissy. Let's, well, it doesn't look too bad. That's with the same exact knobbage as the other game, so just some blown out gunnage going on. I was not prepared for it to just come up. That's smelling toasty, roast toasty. Let's get that to go away. Put some focus. I'm getting wigged out because I'm seeing reflections of the LED lights in my room. Oh, whoa, that's sharp. That's a sharp one. So right now we definitely have a color balance issue. This thing's awfully bright. It's nice and bright. It's hinting more blue. This is supposed to be white, I do believe, so that's not right. Let's power it off for now and take the HV probe off, because I think the HV probe has served its purpose. We're getting HV. That's nice. Let's move the monitor over so I can get to the game screen adjustments, and then we'll make some adjustments. All right, now I got this over a little bit. Let's give it an adjustment. We'll do some Y-size adjustment first. Maybe a tripod would be better for this. All right, so and bring it left some more. That's pretty good. It's kind of got like a pin cushion issue, doesn't it? Let's do X size now. Oh, I'm thinking these need to. Those need to get cleaned real bad. After bringing the size up, the pin cushion's a lot better. Let me actually spray those pots. So after my previous mission abort, you got the pots deoxidated. They're all cleaned up. And now I can continue adjusting, hopefully without worry of spazzing out potentiometers, causing deflection transistor death. Now, a cool goal for today would be to put the monitor back in the cabinet and play myself a game of Tempest. So, see where it lands. I don't like that. Oh, that's. Oh, that's a lot better. That's a lot cleaner. Those have not been adjusted for a very long time. Man, that makes a goofy noise. So we want X centering. Size up a little bit more. Center it a little bit more towards me. That looks pretty good. Alright, so next up is the color. This thing has some color issues. Now let me get a mirror so I can see what screen I'm on. That way I can manipulate the colors. And be able to know what's up. So this thing is trending a little blue, a little purple. Where's my audio at? That should be a bleeping blomper, alright? That should be annoying. That should be quite a little bit different. I'm not fond of fondling focus block potentiometers with my bare hands, so at the very least I'm going to get a rubber glove. I fucking don't like it. It's pretty good. So you see my bipolar pots need to be adjusted. Those two lines are not lined up with each other. So how do I do that? Well, the stupid pots are glued, so. Alright, back to this. Now that I deoxidated some more pots and removed the power supply so it's not in the way. That time I heard a beep, so I'm expecting the sound to work this time. There really should be sound here. So that should be pretty adjusted in. The bipolar pots, that's correct. Now I need to adjust linearity. Look at Y. That's gonna have to be how it is. What I don't like is the lack of sound. Green's being a bitch. It's still there, it's just super dim. Let's do some color adjustments. Oh, all right, so everything is cranked downwards on this thing. That's not what I expected. Let's, dude, this thing is looking fucking swell. Got the white balance in. Dude, this looks good. So, I couldn't contain myself, and instead of, just testing it and leaving it as is, and putting this poor thing back together, which I will do later, I'll just have to fix the HV cage. Put the HV cage on the Tempest here, and we got it adjusted. Look at that. Oh, let me turn that off. That sure is a working Tempest. Fuck off. So anyway, I'm kind of rushing this video a little bit because I wanted to get this going because there's a high score. It's kind of a funny coincidence because I picked this up on the same week that beginning of the week in a Discord that I'm in for Overtime Arcade is Tempest. So today is the last day of that competition. So I wanted to get a little couple scores in, and of course playing Tempest on a computer kind of sucks. So I was kind of rushed to get this going. So I'll play a game for you. I didn't really document what I did too much. Just know that there's a Wells Gardner 6100 monitor guide, and there is a section in there for making your 6100 problem free, which I undid every single one of those mods that was on that PDF that was done to this thing. I got rid of all that shit. All that shit doesn't matter because, well, at least the current limiting for the deflection, because the only way you're going to have too much current is if your game board's malfunctioning in the first place, which it really shouldn't be. As long as you have your monitor set up pretty well, at least in my experience, because I've worked with quite a few of these. Like my Space Duel had a good 2-year run before it blew up for the first time. I think earlier this year, in January, March, or February. That's just usual for these fucking things. Just don't worry about it so much. And then the Tempest the arcade I work at, also has similar issues every once in a while. They'll just eat a transistor, and then you just replace it and call it a day. It lasts for another year. It's fine. That thing gets 8 hours a day, 6 days a week. So if that thing can last 7 hours a day, 6 days a week, and last a year without blowing up, having things standard, as long as you have it well set up, you know what you're doing, nothing is like completely worn out. These things are not that bad. This is if you jack everything up, then things start getting real cranky. So, yeah. But now that I gave you this spiel, I'm going to play this, and it's going to die on me. Or something stupid like that. Just fucking watch. Now it's time for a bit of a continuity error. I did get some parts for the high voltage cage. Tempest is working now. I actually robbed the high voltage cage out of Space Duel just to get this working for now, just to make sure that the tube is working, as you'll see soon. And then I got the fluorescent bulb put in there, but the fucking ballast was dead, and it blew the cabinet fuse, and I went throughout town trying to find a 7-amp slow blow fuse, and I could not find one. And I couldn't find any LED fluorescents that are complete replacements. All the ones that I found locally required a ballast, which I don't understand, because if you're going to be putting a fucking LED in something, why do you need a ballast? But, I mean, I guess it's for the direct replacement ones where you just take the bulb out and put the new one in, but why'd you even bother doing that if the ballast was good in the first place? The only reason I'd see putting the LEDs in where a fluorescent was in the moment would be for, you know, a dead ballast. And I want to pay $30 for a ballast or whatever, you know? Okay, get out of here with that. So, this is a continuity error because I got parts for the HV cage. This is the HV cage out of the Tempest. And this is going to go back into the Space Duel. Here we got some stuff. We got a cap kit. This is for the Tempest monitor, okay. I'll put the caps in there. Maybe. I'll put the HV caps in there, and then I'll mark that. Then we got the transistors that died. They look a little different because these are the right ones, actually. We got some cool little heat sinks for them. Got 2 of them. Or 3 of them. Yeah, cool little heat sinks for these little transistor. We have the high voltage adjustment pot, the video B plus adjustment pot, whatever you want to call it. So those are important parts to replace on a high voltage cage. Well, these aren't turbo important unless they're dead. And you may have also noticed that this is a little bit different setup than what I had before. I did do a bit of rearranging because of Tempest, just to fit it in. So what I did is I moved all my Atari games over here. So now I got my Atari row. I got Clax, Centipede, Asteroids, Space Duel, and Tempest over here. And moved all the other oddball stuff over here. The 2 Midway games, Wizard of War and Galaxian, Double Dragon, Phoenix. They're just kind of over there doing their thing. I moved the pinball machine over here. And then I just got, you know, Kick still in the middle of the room. But where did Space Invaders go? Oh, well, obviously it's over here. Since the second player doesn't work, I just put it next to Stargate and Robotron. I do have the relays to make that work, but maybe one of these days. It's not turbo important, so somehow I put more shit in my garage and I made it even roomier. The nice thing is that with the TV over here, if I wanted to pull up and watch TV, I could pull up a chair right here and have a good view of the TV, and I'm not too close. So yeah. All right, step 1, clean this shit up. Holy cow. Oh yeah. Watch me turn games off like. All right, time to test this thing. I got new capacitors, new B plus pot, reflowed the flyback stuff. Put those new transistors in there. So hopefully we got something. Let's put the screen somewhere in the middle. Same with the focus. Let's get the focus like right in about the middle. So we'll turn it on and see if we got high voltage, see if it blows shit up. I don't know. Low high voltage. That's why. So there is life. That's a positive thing. I heard a buzz, burn, ba-deer, ba-deer. Uh-oh. That is about where it's supposed to be, isn't it? So, we have low high voltage. That means there's other issues. So, I'll have to look up the FAQ. It'll tell us what's usually bad. That was about 7 kilovolts. Well, excuse me for both my low quality video and my stupidity, because I put one of the transistors in there wrong. It's one of these guys. It's the horizontal one. It's got a heat sink on it. Kind of hard to see because my nice lights died So I got these ones instead. You know, the future of LED lights and them lasting longer than incandescence and small fluorescence, but then they put shitty drive electronics in them, so they all suck. I'm disappointed with LED lights, how many I've had to replace. So let's see what the voltage looks like. Still not enough. There might be a bad Zener diode or something in there. Alright, so yet another week later, and we got some parts. I replaced the Zener diode, this 150 volts. I replaced all the smaller Zener diodes just in case. Replaced the open resistor. Replaced these two browned resistors that were a little bit cooked up. So hopefully, when I plug this in, I should get the proper voltage, since the, or close to at least, since the pot is right where it needs to be. So we're gonna unplug this first though, because we want to set the high voltage with the screen off. No vectors, no cathode current through the tube. Got it plugged in. I'm pretty sure everything's plugged in. Get the game boards unplugged. See what kind of voltage we get out with it. Okay. That's looking pretty good. I'd almost call that good enough. Whoa. What was that? Oh shit, what the fuck is going on here? What the fuck? What died? Ooh, that smell good. Ah, that guy smoked. What's that one? Well, time to take it apart and see what the fuck. 503, 903. What's 903? That's smoke and resistor time. We went high voltage. That was not good. Well, 903. That one goes. Should be up here. So that one. That one, 3.9.5. This guy's short. So that's probably why the high voltage went way high. I didn't like that pop. That 901 is probably dead. Okay, fuck. Alright, so which one was that one again? We're looking at Q901. That one had the resistor that feeds it blow up. This one's probably cracked. Let's pull this off. Maybe the resistor just exploded. That looks okay. No physical damage to those. Maybe I didn't blow them up long enough to damage the transistors. Ah, fuck. What would cause that? Too much current going through that. Too much current going through that. Too much current going through this to this guy. This guy, okay, there's a good chance that this is carbon tracked. Because if we're talking big boy voltages here. Oh no, that's only 25, 6 volts, 6.5 volts. There's nothing really huge going through here, but this could have carbon tracked anyway. So that's pretty fucking bad. I'm gonna test this guy again. So this thing just pulls this voltage right here going to the flyback transformer lower. This guy's brand new, D901. I think that's the... Wait, no, that one's not brand new. Does it work? I did not check D901, did I? I should probably check that one. Hopefully this is not a flyback failure. If the flyback failed, these diodes are still good because we got up to 19.5 kilovolts, which is what it's supposed to, so all this voltage was good. We just don't want anything on the primary to be shorted or causing too much current to flow. But too much current flowed, then it would have dropped this voltage, and then this one wouldn't have to conduct very much. And it probably would have killed this instead, because too much current would have flowed through that. So I don't think the transformer primary is bad. What would happen if the secondary was shorted? If the secondary was shorted, you would have low, high voltage, higher current, and possibly damage the tube, maybe, I don't know. So we had the proper voltage at the correct setting on the potentiometer, so I think the flyback is fine. What could have caused too much current right here? Q901. Do I just have that one in backwards too or something? No. Let me investigate this. Okay, it has happened. This guy's dead, this guy's dead. Oh, shit. One of these is dead. This one right here is dead. This is probably dead. Yep, figures. That one used to be a 901 spot, right? Right there. This one gets blown up if these two die right here. And those were dead when I originally got it. So those poor guys are dead. This guy's dead. This guy's dead. And this guy's dead. That guy's dead. Wow. There might be a chance that one's still alive. Let me test it. Oh, I tested it. It's 4.1 when it's supposed to be 3.9. So someone's still home. I'll see if I can find a 4.1 to rob, or 3.9 to rob off of another board. If not, that one will still do, I think. It'll just lower the amount of voltage or the amount of current available to Q902 or 901. Q901. If that's the case, then I don't know. Just make the proper adjustment to this potentiometer to make up for it. This guy still tests good. This probably carbon tracked and murdered these guys here. And so I'm going to chop this off, because that's fucking horrible. Here we are again. New transistors, new resistor. I soldered that on there. No more bad connector. Got some heat shrink on there to make it nice and pretty. Don't look at that too much. Oh, fucking hell. Well, let's see if we got any snap, crackle, pop. See if we blow up any transistors. And oh, it's dead. And we smoked it again. Okay, so I'm thinking this guy is failing under high voltage, under high load. That was another failure. So that fucker killed another two of those transistors, another Zener diode. Fuck this thing. I dumbed it up pretty good. My video quality was 720p, not 1080, 60. And I found my problem. So, this guy right here is supposed to be like 0.27 ohms. 0.27 ohms. This is for providing power to the collector of this guy right here. And right now this dude, well, first of all, I like looked on the underside. I was just kind of looking at it. It had a big old solder blob here. And it looked like the legs, the very ends of the legs just like disintegrated somehow. It just like fell apart, and this thing is reading like 0.7 mega ohms. So this thing is deader than shit, this half watt resistor. So this was acting as a giant open right here. So you know what happens if this guy right here is opened? Well, when this thing sees that the voltage is low and it tries, pass some more current here, so it opens this up, blah blah blah, or stops this up, and then all the current here flows through here, and then allows this to go into here, which turns up the voltage here. If this is open right here, all the current's going to try and flow through R903 through this, through Q900, which will survive, yeah, it'll survive because there's nowhere for the voltage to go backwards through the collector, because this is open right here, and this is a capacitor here, not going to let DC through, so this transistor will survive. This one will put too much current through here into the base of Q900 and kill this one. It'll short it out, so then all this shit's going to go through here and go right through the Q902 and Xenodiode 901 and kill those. So I killed these three parts multiple times because R902 was open the entire time. So time to order more parts. Listen here, I'm sick of your shit. Alright, so for the most part, I got everything kind of put back in there. That resistor is still not looking very happy. I'll see if I got one of those in my new Big Fat Happy resistor kits that I just got off of Amazon. There might be something in there for that. But you got the bigger Big Fat resistor, like this one that was roastified, that kept on blowing up everything because of this little doodad right here, blowing up everything. All these parts dead because of this resistor. So let's retry this. Well, I slapped that new resistor in there. I did not find a replacement for this one in that kit because it's a 3.9 and the only one that's got in here is like a 3.3. However, I don't think that would affect it really. It would just change the amount of voltage you'd have at the same position of that pot. You just have to adjust the pot a little bit because the lower 3.3 ohm would probably just conduct more current, so that this would have to output less to get higher voltage or whatever. It'd be fine, but that resistor is fine too. So fuck. I gotta dig that monitor out of there again because every time I get done messing with this for the couple days, I gotta put the monitor back. Otherwise, my cat gets in there and he tries to live inside the cabinet. You know, the one that, when plugged in, has like 120 volts exposed somewhere in the bottom there. That's not good. We don't let the cat in there. Alright, what kind of shit-ass results are we getting this time? I got everything plugged in. The potentiometer is pointed in the general direction that it's supposed to be. Let's plug this bad boy in upside down. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Let's see. With Q900 having available current to pass, will Q901, or is it 902? Will Q901 survive the power onage and then not kill everything else in its path? Like a rampaging monster. Okay. Here's the power switch. Let's check it out. Man, that's a good, like, 19 kV. That's about where we want it to be, isn't it? Oh, I heard a sparkly crackly. If it fails, it's going to fail within the first few minutes. Or seconds, really. That appears to be stable. Still have my hand on the power switch. Let's see if I can zoom in here, show you what's going on. Oh yeah. Man, that sure is just making high voltage. It's kind of like we wanted it to do that, don't it? Let's turn the power on. Let's give it an image to display. And we'll see if fuckness is gonna fuckness. Okay. Give it a couple seconds to discharge the voltage before I shove it on the game board. Piss it off. Alright, here we go. We got a picture for it to display. That's sounding like it's deflectoring. Wah, 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 wah. That's making high voltage. That's making a picture. Sure is. Yeah, buddy. Let it sit here and run for a minute. And then once I'm fairly certain it's not going to explode in my face, I'll adjust the picture a little bit. This thing, well, we have some pissy shit going on here. This thing doesn't have a degauss coil, I do not believe. There's just like no scores. There is no scores for 2-player, but yeah, green's looking pretty blue, isn't it? Sure, there's some vectoring going on. Here we got, you know, some nice 19 kV about 19 and a half or so, even with the picture. Now let's put the power switch down and see here. That's about 19, all right. You can hear the deflection coils chattering. That's perfectly normal. That's normal and desired, because if you don't have that noise, then it's not deflecting. Let's poke the screen pot. Let's see what we got for screenage. Whoa, we got some blowout. Blur and make blowouts, okay. Let's focus this bad boy in a little bit more. Wah, wah, wah. Oh yeah, that's nice and bright. Oh damn, that's nice and bright. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Don't mind the convergence. This thing never fucking works right. This thing always looks ugly as shit. This 90-degree tube where a 100-degree tube should be, it just doesn't work right. How many amps does this thing handle? It probably won't tell me because shit's cheap as hell. Intended for indoor use only. Well, that was certainly nice, but it's gonna handle the ring of shame. Come on. Ring of shame. Oh, come here. Come here, bad boy. You're gonna electromagnetize my face right now. Let's get this electromagnetism going on. Let's burn my extension cord up for 10 seconds. I don't know how much current this thing actually draws. All right. Green's looking a lot greener now. Alrighty. I like the results. That HV cage is working. I don't know how long I need to do a burn-in test for it. To be honest, I don't really trust this game board. I'm pretty sure the reason why it blew out this monitor last time, late last year, or early this year, is this high score saves kit. So I don't have a Poke 1 in there. Where's my Poke 1? Huh? What the fuck? If I don't have a Poke 1 in there, then why do I even have the extender bobbers in there? So I got like a socket in between the socket to raise that thing up so the Poke 1 would poke, but I don't have a Poke 1 in there right now. Where the fuck did the Poke 1 go? Where did I put that sucker? Is that on my Gravatar board? What's going on here? Is it on... It might be on my Millipede board. think I got both Pokey ones on there. Yeah, you know what? Fuck it. Alright, that means all vector games are functional for now. Until one decides to blow up again, so... There's a happy Tempest, a happy Space Duel, and even a happy Asteroids. Although it's just kind of chilling out over here by itself. It never really gets any issues. Now that I say that. Now I'm very annoyed because I did do a gameplay video, or I very specifically remember recording a gameplay video of Tempest the day I got the screen working. But I guess I'm just going to have to do it again because it's somehow missing, and I'd like to end the video on my new game being played as it should be. And just for shits and giggles, I got Space Duel turned on to let it kind of do its thing over there, as it still has been freshly repaired, so I got to keep an eye on it. Give it a couple hours to run time. I need to bring the Ring of Shame out on it again now that I put it in a different position. However, that's not the point right now. Let's play some Tempest. So yeah, that's Tempest right there. It's working. You know, I think Space Duel has such a loud chatter on the vector monitor because it has that rewound joke. It's not designed for it. It's just really loud. Okay, we'll play Tempest for a game or two. Tempest is super cool. It's not a game that I necessarily played the original version as a kid. I think the reason why I enjoy it so much is because I had a CD-ROM on my computer back in like 2003 that I got from what was the thing? It was like a book club thingamabobber I used to get every couple months or whatever, where you could order books. Scholastic, whatever the fuck. So there's a Scholastic book catalog, and in the back sometimes you get some oddball rip-off bullshit, and sometimes you can find cool stuff like software, educational software, like Oregon Trail 2. And for some reason there was a CD that just had Atari games on it, and a lot of cool updated versions of the graphics and stuff. So there's some cool effects to the video on games like Missile Command on there. It had Tempest on there, and also Tempest Tubes, and that was my favorite game out of all the games there. I think it had Centipede, Missile Command, Asteroids, Pong, because why not, I guess. I don't like Pong. Boring shit. I'm gonna die. But I remember that being my favorite game on that collection of games. And then it also reminded me of Star Wars that my dad used to have, because obviously the video is very similar. Only coming to find out years later, it uses basically the same kind of hardware, except fancier. So it made a Tempest kind of a must-get for me. Fuck. Oh yeah, I greased the shit out of this spinner so it doesn't buzz so much anymore. I'm not particularly good at Tempest, but I find that it's better if you don't get a shit ton of points on the first level you play, because you get a bunch of bonus points when you complete a level after picking hard. And every time you get 20,000 points, you're supposed to get a life, but when you get your big bonus points, they'll only count one extra life for passing 20,000 points. So if you get too many points on the first level you play, you'll miss out on one life. If you do it right, you can get another life almost immediately after starting the second level. Kind of a cool little trick. Well, there you go. That's Tempest. Very cool game, very cool graphics, very cool gameplay. I enjoy it. I'm glad to have one, too. Very cool cabinet. Very cool everything about it.